Down. Now today we are going to be going over shooting guard builds. Last video I talked about point guards. Today I'm going to be talking about the three top shooting guard builds that I recommend to you all. Just a little update. Some of you have noticed probably that we have changed our name. That's because we have added another person to our channel, and he will be making videos later on, but do not worry, we are going to continue making videos for you all. So our new name is the Royal GKV Gamers. If you were to click on our link, you will see that on our channel. Also, we now have a Snapchat, so go on there, follow, like, comment, subscribe, do all that. We are up and running now. Today I'm going to go over shooting guards. The shooting guard builds that I will recommend to you all are either a James Harden build, Klay Thompson build if you like being a sharpshooter, a DeMar DeRozan build, and if you want to be a defensive player, you can also be maybe a Jimmy Butler build. I don't know. Those just are the ones I would recommend because those people I feel like are very good shooting guards. So, we're going to go over our James Harden build. From what we all know of, James Harden is one of the most lethal shooting guards in the league. Literally. He's like, no one can really stop him. And he's pretty much an all-around player. I wouldn't say he's much of a defensive player, but in the other three categories, he pretty much is all around and fits those descriptions well. So these builds down here that have more defense, I do not recommend, but if you want to, you can go with that, but just be aware that you aren't going to be a very good shooter at all. Even this one, I really don't recommend this one, even though you have a 95 in ball handling, accuracy, and post moves. I wouldn't recommend it because your shooting isn't that good. It's decent, but I wouldn't recommend it. This is one of the builds you can pick if you want to be more of a defense version shooting guard with still being able to shoot here and there. You will have a decent slashing ability. You know, your speed comes in to help you with that, but the one you really want to look at, I would say, is either this build or this one. And the reason I say that because we all have seen and realized James Harden is a very good playmaker. Over the seasons, he switched from shooting guard to point guard position, and he actually started doing a lot better once he switched to point guard position. But out of the two, I would say go with this one. The reason I say go with this one because this one is better in shooting compared to this one, and also the playmaking is about the same. You get a little more ball handling with this one. If you want that speed boost, then I would say go with, this one. It's a really good build. So, you see, for this one, you get an 87 in your speed, you get an 85 in your acceleration, and you get a 53 in strength. You get a 68 in vertical. Like the last video, I recommend all the time for you to go with the balance. The reason I say go with the balance is because there's no physical real advantage, but there's no disadvantages in it as well. Everything is balanced, everything is smooth. The second most balanced build I would say is this one, but we're going to go with the last one. If you feel like you want to be a speed person and you don't really care for balance, then pick the first one, go right ahead. I do not care. It's your build. I'm just recommending things for you all. Now, like the last video, I want you all to pay attention to my attributes I have in the beginning and how many badges I get from each category. So let's start with our shooting. Like last video I said, you always want to max out your shooting if you are a shooter. A lot of people don't really mess with free throws or don't really care for free throws, so we're going to keep that on the 80 for now. Post moves we're going to put to about a 60, and as you can see, just from maxing out 2 of the 4 categories and then increasing the last 2 a little bit, we have 15 shooting badges. Now if you want to see how many you have in total, I can do that for you right now and show you that if you max it out, you would get 22 badges flat out. Max out your playmaking, because James Harden is a very good playmaker. You get 21 badges. It's not as many as the shooting. It's off by 1, but at the end of the day, that's still good. You want that. You want more badges. The more badges you get, the more Hall of Fame badges you could potentially have, and gold badges. So what we're going to do here, we're going to max out the close shot, going to max out the driving layup, and we're going to max out the driving dunk. Now pay attention to this. We maxed out 3 categories and only got 3 badges. Altogether, that about ate up, let's see, 213. That ate up about, I want to say 92 attribute points. Yeah. So it's up to y'all if you stop right here, so you can have the remaining attribute points go to your defense. You could, if you want to, increase your post hook to get those extra 2 badges. That's what I'm going to do, just to show you all. So moving down to defense, always start off, in my opinion, with your rebounding, because it's very, I wouldn't say difficult, but it's not as easy anymore to get rebounds as a point guard, shooting guard on here. A shooting guard gets rebounds more easier than point guards, but I still would say go with that first. I wouldn't really pay attention to these 2 because you really don't do that as much, but for a shooting guard, I would definitely say increase your blocks. If you want, you can increase your steals. We can do that, but I'm going to show you what it looks like when you don't do that. So what we're going to do is increase our lateral quickness all the way, and we're going to put the rest to our perimeter defense. Now, looking over at the badges, we have 5 finishing badges. We have 22 shooting badges and 21 playmaking badges. Increasing those categories, we still only have 1 defensive badge. If you are not a defensive player and you do not build a defensive build, do not put all your attributes to it. Because increasing, like I showed you in the last video, increasing 4 categories, you only get like 3-4 badges from it. You do not want to waste your attributes in categories that's not going to benefit you. But I can say, if you are a defensive player and you max out most of your defensive badges, you're going to see a drastic change in your badges. You're going to have a lot more badges. They're going to look a lot like the playmaking and shooting badges. So what we're going to do here is decrease our steals, because again, I do not recommend you to reach in this game, not one bit. Do not reach, please do not reach, because they will call a foul on you. So at the end, this is what I have for the James Harden build. So what we're going to do now is go to body shape. Like I explained last time, you can pick whatever you want. It will not affect your player, not your speed. It won't affect your acceleration, strength, vertical attributes, nothing. So that's all up to you. Here's a very important thing: height. Notice when I go down 1, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 categories that go up, but I have a lot more that goes down. You see that your speed and acceleration increases, but your strength decreases. For a shooting guard, I recommend, it depends. For point guards and shooting guards, I always recommend that you stay neutral. If you don't, you can go up by 1 if you want to. Only if you know you're not going to suffer a big hit, especially when it comes to your ball handling. As you can see, I went up by 1 and my ball handling dropped by 5. We do not want that. We want to keep our ball handling the same, if not go up. Now, paying attention to what we suffer from when we go down a height. We lose 3 in blocks. We lose 1 in offensive rebounding, 2 in defensive rebounding. We lose 3 in post moves, and we lose 1 in both standing dunk and post hook. I'm going to keep my height neutral because we do not want a short shooting guard. We also kind of don't want a tall shooting guard either because our vertical acceleration and speed suffers greatly along with our ball handling. So I'm going to keep it neutral. For my weight, we're going to increase it for a moment so I can show you what is being changed. Looking over to your left, you see that your interior defense goes up by 1. Your lateral quickness is going to drop by 1. As you increase that, move over to the right. Maxing out our weight, we suffer an acceleration in vertical, but we gain strength. I do not recommend you to max out your weight unless you are a bigger player. If you are a small forward, power forward, or center, then I highly recommend you to max out your strength if you want to, because it's really going to benefit you when it comes to post play. In this game, you can get really bullied in that paint if you do not weigh enough to move people around, and you do not have the moving truck badge. So for this build, we're going to leave our weight at, let's see. I always recommend you to increase your weight up until it starts decreasing your vertical acceleration, because you can take a hit in vertical by 1, but I don't recommend for you to take that hit in acceleration, so I'm going to keep my weight at 205 because that is the neutral ground. Wingspan. Maxing out our wingspan, we suffer in ball handling, post moves, 3-point shooting, and mid-range shooting. Never max out your wingspan unless you are playing defense. If you know you're playing a position or going to a team where you're going to have to be a big importance to your team on defense, then you can max out your wingspan. But if you're not, do not max your wingspan out. Now, I'm not saying go and all do that and make your wingspan the shortest it can be. Yes, you gain 3 in post moves, handles, 3-point shooting, and mid-range shooting. And I always highly recommend to increase your shooting if you are a shooter. You take a suffering in blocks though. And because we don't have much blocks high as it is, and because I only have it at a 45, I'm only going to go up until I do not see this -1. So the lowest I can go in my wingspan is at 80.7. So we're going to leave it like that. We all know James Harden has shown that he's pretty much fitting of all these positions in TakeOver. But from what I've seen, James Harden has been more of like a playmaking shot creator. But if you really want to emphasize James Harden and be somewhat fully like him, but not fully like him, I would probably recommend for you to go with I would say a playmaking takeover. Because with a playmaking takeover, playmakers can free their defenders more often with acumented ball handling abilities and can enhance their teammates' shooting, making off assists. The reason I say this is because not only does it help you better break down the defense, it will open up so much space for you to slash. Yes, you won't be a lethal slasher, but being able to break down the defense and create that space for your character to shoot or pass for a wide open shot for your teammate is very essential, and you get big boosts in your takeover meter. I've noticed in 2K20, most of your grade can go up if you get assists and make shots off of assists. So I recommend the playmaker takeover. And as you can see to the side, it's more of a Buddy Hield, CJ McCollum, Allen Houston build. I don't really worry too much of the similarity, because also I was going to recommend CJ McCollum as a type build anyway, so it still worked out in my favor. So we're going to go to test build. I'm just going to show y'all a quick little view of it, and then I'm going to go and back and show you a second build I recommend for you all. So back to this, you will start off at a 60. You look to your left. That is where all your attributes will start off at. As you progress and get better at the end, look back to the left. This is what your attributes is going to look like. If you aren't satisfied with certain categories, please feel free to go back and play around with your attributes. I recommend for everyone, when you're making a build, if you feel like the build isn't as you want it and it isn't as close to what you want, play around with the attributes. Sometimes you can take away certain amounts of attributes before it takes away a badge. Play around with it. You can probably take like 4 attributes off of something in playmaking before it drops your badges from 21 to 20. So for those 4 attributes, go back and put it to something else if you feel like it'll help you better. I fully recommend that. I tell everyone, do that. Just like the last video, we don't have as many finishing badges. So what we're going to do is get Acrobat. I always recommend people to get Acrobat as a badge. And for our second one, I kind of hate that I only got 5. I would say it's up to you. You can either get Contact Finisher. I always feel like that is one of the best badges for a slasher to have, besides Acrobat, oh Jesus, I can't speak today. Slithery Finisher and Giant Slayer. Giant Slayer is a really good badge, from what I'm saying. It's really good. So for this build, I'm going to get that on gold. For this, you can get Acrobat on bronze and then get Contact Finisher if you want to, or take Giant Slayer off gold, put that over there, or put it over here. It's up to you. It's all up to you. Whatever you want, do it. But for this particular one, I'm going to just put it to Acrobat and Giant Slayer. Moving on to the shooting badges. First badge we're going to get is Difficult Shots on gold for right now. We're going to get Dead Eye on gold. We're going to get Catch and Shoot on gold. And we're going to get Steady Shooter. And we are going to get, let me see, Range Extender. That's a good badge to have. If you want to, you can get Quick Draw. I haven't used that badge as much, but I believe it's supposed to speed up your shot or something like that. But for this build, I would say get Green Machine. And you can get Slithery off ball if you want to. If not, I would say go with Pick a Popper. Clutch Shooter if you want to, but for this particular video, I'm going to take one off of this and put it on Range Extender so we can have that on Hall of Fame. Difficult Shots, take one off this and put that on Dead Eye. And you don't have to copy these builds, just to let you all know. You don't really have to get the same badges I'm getting. I'm just showing you possible badges you can put on there. You can adjust it to however you want it. If you feel like you want to be more of a catch and shoot than a range extender, then do what you want to do. You can put catch and shoot on Hall of Fame, gold, silver, bronze, whatever you feel like. We're Going to get ankle breaker on Hall of Fame. I recommend everybody, if you have over 12 badges or even 10, get ankle breaker on Hall of Fame. We're going to get downhill. We're going to get floor general for this build. Handles for days. Space creator. Quick first step. We have 2 left. You can trade space creator for stop and go or tight hands or even unpluckable. I recommend everybody to, if you can, get unpluckable at least on silver, because it helps a lot more to reduce turnover ratios. But what we're going to do is James Harden, he got most of these badges, honestly. We're going to get Lob City Passer. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And then, like I said, for this, you can pick whatever you want. Most of the time when you make these builds, if you're not a defensive player or not a big man, you're not going to get many defensive badges. So for this, I'm going to pick Intimidator again, like I did last video. And we're going to pick a random team to play for. Go play for the Nets. And we're going to play against Boston. I didn't think I was going to make that anyway. I was trying to get over to the 3-point line before he passed it. But yeah, like I said, I think I said this is my last video. Intimidator is a really good badge to have. I don't care what position you play. Intimidator is a real good badge to have, because it really helps you better with defending people. So let's say you don't get a block, or you contest the shot, but they do a animation where the player still gets past you. Having Intimidator will make it more likely that they will miss the shot, depending on what level the badge is on, bronze, silver, gold, or Hall of Fame. That really comes in handy and helps you on defense a lot more. I should have held it longer on that. And one thing about being a shooting guard, you have to move on defense. You can't just stand in one spot. You have to move around no matter what position you play. Unless you play in the paint, then there's not much movement for you to be doing. Just don't sit in the paint too long, because then you will get a 3-second call called on you. So just don't sit in the paint. Even if you feel like you're let's say I'm standing right here, more so on this white line, if you feel like they're finna call you for it, just move out the paint. If you've been standing there too long waiting for a play to happen, just move around and get right back in the paint. They won't call it on you. I don't know why I took that mid-range shot earlier. I should have passed it. But yeah, I hope these videos are helping y'all. I hope the last video helped you all. I know I made it a little too long. I wasn't intending on doing that. It was just one of them things where I was just talking and I kind of like lost track of time a little bit. So I apologize for that. Yeah, I'm probably going to stop around once we score 15 and show y'all the other build that I have in mind that y'all can use. I actually will show y'all a slashing shooting guard build, and then I'll do like a defensive one too. So one of them I just won't show because I don't want to make the video too long. But yeah, if any of y'all have like suggestions or want me to try to like make a particular build for you all, please do not be afraid to comment below and leave a comment of what you want to see, because these videos are for y'all. So it's all about what y'all want, and we'll try our best to make it. Like I mentioned in my last video, pick and roll will be your best friends. Also, if you didn't pay attention, you can rewind and see up at the top, my grade went from a C plus to a B minus just off one assist. That's what I was saying earlier about getting assists and making shots off assists. Those are like the biggest boosters to your grade and will help you actually boost your takeover meter a lot more besides just making shots. See what I mean? Character jumps, like, these characters jump slow on the rebound for some reason. I noticed on 2K20, like, they jump real slow for some fucking reason. Yep, there go one. Oh, I got blocked. Alright then. I got blocked last video too. I feel like it's just indefatigable. Like, it's like something I can't avoid. I'm going to get blocked in almost every game I play. I feel like that's how it's been for me. Yeah, that was an easy shot. Alright, so I'm going to exit this and I'm going to show you all the slashing build I have in mind for you all. It's kind of like a DeMar DeRozan build, I can say. And then the defensive build is more so a replica of Jimmy Butler. So, show y'all that real quick. I do not recommend this. This is a pure slashing build. Practically, I do not recommend this. Because 9 times out of 10, at least throughout your first season, you're going to have to shoot a mid-range and a three-point shot at some point. And you can't just be the slasher that can't shoot. I never recommend the pure slasher build unless you solely are going to try to drive all the time. And I'm pretty sure that kind of gets old, because I know it gets kind of old for me. So for this DeMar DeRozan build, I recommend the second one, mainly because you get an 85 in your driving layup, and then you get an 83 in your driving dunk, and a 58 in your standing dunk. Now, there are ones like this that give you higher ratings in slashing and playmaking, but again, your three-point, actually, this kind of fits him a lot more, but he's really good at mid-range shot. Like, from what I've seen, DeMar DeRozan has become one of the best mid-range shooters in the league. So I recommend the second one for you. and I'm going to show you exactly how you make it. So for this one, I recommend this first one because you get more speed from it. Even though I would also recommend to go for the one like this, where you can get about not the same amount of speed, but you still like in the 80s somewhat, and then you can get that vertical up high. Vertical is really needed in this game. So what we're going to do, max out the shooting, of course. Post phase, and then we're going to go to playmaking, max that out. Max out driving dunks. Notice we still have one badge over there. Max out driving. Notice how this build with 2 maxed out categories, you get 5 badges instead of having to max out 3, 4 to get 5. And then we're going to do that for close shot, and now we have 14 finishing badges. If you want to increase your standing dunk, go right ahead just to get like more badges, but I don't fully recommend it, but I'm going to do it just for this build. I'm going to increase my rebounding to a 70, my offensive rebounding to a 50. I'm going to put my blocks at a 49. I'm going to put my steals at a 45 for right now, and then I'm going to put the rest of my perimeter defense. So, never mind, we're not going to do that. This is where the tinkering play comes into play. So what we're going to do is mess around a little bit. We can take 2 attributes out of this. We can't really tamper with. I don't want to tamper with that anyway. We can take this. Okay, so we need that there. We're going to put our perimeter defense to a 70 and our lateral quickness. Okay, so yeah, this is the best I can do for right now until I figure out how to mess with it a little more. But with these attributes, again, you can put them any way you want when it comes to the defense, but I recommend the top ones for your attributes on your own build. So we're going to go with builds. DeMar DeRozan is 6'7", but pay attention that you lose speed, acceleration, and vertical if you increase your height. So again, I recommend stay 6'5". If you want to go to 6'7", go right ahead. I do not knock you to do whatever you want to do. Now notice, for this, we get a boost in interior defense by 1, but we lose 1 in vertical. So what we're going to do is go backwards and stay at 207. If you want to go up, a weight I would recommend then for you is 225 pounds. Even though you lose 2 in lateral quickness and you lose 2 in vertical and acceleration, you get a 64 in strength. And if you just don't want to be like a slim shooting guard who gets bullied and pushed around, then I would recommend you to go 225. So let's do that. For the wingspan, we're going to go down just 1. You can increase it as well if you want to. Go right ahead. For this build, you're going to pick slasher, because for this build, you want to be able to slash and get to the rim and finish strong. So we're going to pick slasher. Notice that you have built a 3-level scorer, and wow, this is James Harden, really? I would think James Harden was the other one, but okay. It say you are Vince Carter, James Harden, and Bradley Beal. I know why it says James Harden, because in this game, James Harden takeover is a slasher, not a playmaker. That's probably why. But in my opinion, James Harden has been more of a 3-level scorer still, but I don't believe he's been more of a slasher. I feel like he's been more of a shooting playmaker still. But, 2K does what they want to do. I don't blame you. Keep doing you. I'm going to show you the badges to get for this build, and then I'm going to show you the defensive build. On to the left, those are where your attributes start off at. Increasing this, that's what your attributes will look like when you are at max level. You will have 16 finishing badges, 21 shooting badges, and 17 playmaking badges with 1 defensive rebounding badge. It's actually pretty good. Okay, now that we have more badges and finishing, I can fully show y'all how to make a pretty lethal slasher. First badge we're going to get is Acrobat. Second badge we're going to get for the shooting guard build is Contact Finisher. The next badge we want to get is Giant Slayer, so we can be able to make it over defenders. We want to be able to finish over bigger people. Now, for this, you can go 2 ways. You can get Relentless Finisher as a badge, because that's, from what I've seen, still a good badge to use and have. You can go with Slithery Finisher, Pro Touch, or Teardropper. I would recommend for you to get Fancy Footwork, only because it helps you improve with your gather and finishing when you go into the paint. It improves your ability to beat defenders with an advanced layup or dunk gather, which means you will be able to get past your defender a lot more. I don't really know how good Relentless Finisher still is. I have yet to use it really on a character, but for this one, I'm going to say go with Slithery Finisher. Again, you want to be able to avoid contact, but also get contact so that you can make like N1s and convert ones on the fast break or whatever. For a Hall of Fame badge, I would say go with either Acrobat or Giant Slayer. For this build, I'm going to go with Hall of Fame Acrobat. And if you feel like you want another Hall of Fame, you can take one off of Slithery Finisher, or you can even take one off Fancy Footwork and put it to Giant Slayer. Or if you don't want a Hall of Fame badge and you want Relentless Finisher, you can get that on Silver. But for this segue, I'm going to put it on Acrobat and Giant Slayer. Moving on to our shooting badges, we have 21 badges. So for this badge, I recommend Difficult Shot. I recommend Dead Eye, Deep Fadeaway. I recommend Steady Shooter, Catch and Shoot, Corner Specialist, and this one you can actually, for this build, you can go with Green Machine if you want to. I would recommend go with Pick and Popper. I also would recommend for you to have Green Machine. So if you're the type of person you feel like, oh, Steady Shooter is not really that good, you don't have to get that. You can get Pick and Popper, and you also could get Green Machine. But if you don't want Pick and Popper and you feel like that's the one that's not really much helping to you, you can go back and get Steady Shooter or any one of these badges that you feel like fits. For this one, I'm going to go with Pick and Popper and Green Machine. Moving on to playmaking badges. Ankle Breaker, first badge. Downhill. I would actually want that on Hall of Fame, but because we only have 17 badges, it won't allow us to get a Hall of Fame badge. So we're just going to leave it at gold. We're also going to get stop and go. We're going to get space creator. And we are going to get quick first step. Now for our remaining 2 badges, you can either get handled for days if you still want to be a lethal ankle breaker in the game with this build, which I would say is pretty good. You can even take one off of stop and go and make it silver so you can have handled for days on gold. For this one, that's what we're going to do. We're going to take one off of this and go over here. Or you can get tight hands. That goes actually with these 2 badges. It helps them 2 badges a lot, actually. But, yeah, I don't know. You don't improves the likelihood of freezing or dropping a defender during dribble moves. Reduce the amount of energy lost when performing dribble moves. Yeah, that's up to you. Do what you feel like is you. I'm just gonna leave it like this for right now. And then for the last badge, you can go with Intimidator. I know y'all probably getting sick and tired of me picking Intimidator over and over, but that's just, out of all the ones you can get, I feel like it's the one you should have. Or if not that, you can get Interceptor. I'm going to go with Intimidator because I really love that badge. Okay, so yeah, I'm not going to show this one. If you want me to show you this build, you can leave a comment below and I will make another video for it. But for our last build of the video, I'm going to show you how to build a defensive build. Now, for a defense build, it's multiple ways you can go about this. You can be a 2-way guard and be able to shoot and stick defense. That's more of a Klay Thompson build. For that particular build, I would recommend this one. This one right here. If you want to be a defensive playmaking shooting guard and be able to still get to the rim, but you're not going to be much of a shooter, then I recommend this one. Or if you want to be a full-on defensive player and be alright at slashing, or mostly be defense, then you can go with this last one right here. But for this particular video, I'm going to show you how to be a shooter and basically be a 2-way. Now, for this one, as you can see, the balanced one, we have 82 in speed, 80 in acceleration, 82 in vertical, and 73 in strength. Going up to our first one, we have 88 in speed, 86 in acceleration, 76 in vertical, and 59 in strength. I would recommend this one because of the fact you're more of a defensive player now. You really need speed, so we're going to go with the first one. Or if you want, you can go with the balanced one. We're going to max out our driving dunk, driving layup, and close shot. We're going to max out our shooting. As you can see, we have 4 finishing badges, 18 shooting badges. Going to max out this over here for a minute. And after maxing that out, we have 13 playmaking badges. But because this build is more of a shooting and defensive type build, I would say go back, take off your post move. Post moves aren't that important for this build, but what we want to do is max out our defense. Notice after 3 categories maxing out, now we have 8 badges versus the other few builds I've shown you where we weren't much of a defensive player and we only had 1. So we're going to go up here and max out lateral quickness. Now we have 14. We're going to go back and take off our passing accuracy by a little bit, and we're going to put that to our perimeter defense. Or, matter of fact, you don't even have to put anything in playmaking if you don't want to. For me, in particular, I want to have at at least 6. I want to be able to have 2 gold badges. So I'm going to put that at 40. And I'm going to increase this. And now we have 16 defensive badges. If you feel like I want more defense than that, I want to have more than 4 badges, you can go back and take away from any one of these categories. Besides your shooting, I would recommend leaving your shooting max, and you can tinker around with your finishing since you only have 4 badges from increasing 3 categories. Or you can go back and take more out of your playmaking, whatever you feel fits. But for me, I feel like this is the best way to go because in total you're going to have about 44 badges, something around that number. We're going to go builds. We're going to actually stay neutral, of course. We're going to increase our weight to, I'm going to say, yeah, we're going to increase our weight to about 220, 215, whichever one you feel is best. We're going to actually, for this, leave our wingspan neutral, and we're going to pick a lockdown defender. Now notice, you have built a 3-point specialist. I don't really know why it says 3-point specialist. It should say at least something of a lockdown, but that I feel like is even better because now you're a 3-point shooter, but you also is a defensive player. And when you tap your takeover, you're going to get that lockdown badge. So that's going to come in handy for you. You are a similarity to Bradley Beal, Ray Allen, and Donovan Mitchell. I actually was hoping to get Donovan Mitchell. I'm going to give y'all a quick rundown of the badges, and then that's going to be it for this video. To the left, that's what your stats look like when you first begin going over. That's what your stats look like when you are at 99. Going right into it, we have 4 badges. I would have liked to have 6, but you know, LOL. What we're going to do, I would say matter of fact, I don't recommend anything for this one. You can do what you want. You can pretty much get whatever you want. For me, I'm going to get Contact Finisher and Acrobat because those 2 badges, I feel like are 2 really good badges to have besides Giant Slayer. So we're going to go with those 2. We're going to move over to shooting. We're going to get difficult shots, dead eye, range extender, catch and shoot. If you want, you can get corner specialist. And get any one of these 2 badges or even this one. I say get this one because this one really helps you with getting a lot more green shots. So I'm going to get that. If you don't want to get that, feel free to get whatever other badge you want. But the other 5, I highly recommend. Moving on to playmaking, get ankle breaker, and then last one, you can pretty much get whatever you want. I'm going to get handles for days. And for this one, what we want to do is get Intimidator. I recommend everyone to get Intimidator as their badge. You want to get Clamps as your badge. You want to get... I've seen people get Tireless Defender. I'm not pretty sure how effective that is. But if you feel like you want that, then go right ahead and get that. I'm going to get these, and now I have 1 left. You don't really need to get these on gold if you don't want to. They're not that big a deal to have and be effective of. Or if you don't want any one of these, I would recommend get Off-Ball Pest. Maybe lightning reflexes. I'm not sure how good that one is. That's a newer one in the game now. Or you can get Trapper. That's a good badge to have. And for your Hall of Fame badge, you can either get Intimidator, you can get Tramper, or you could get Clamps. For this one, we're going to get Clamps. And as you can see, after all that, we have 1 Hall of Fame badge, we have 12 gold badges, and 2 silver badges. That is it, people. But yeah, leave a comment in the comment section if you have any suggestions, if you have any requests. Please don't be afraid to leave them. I am KP, and that is all for this segue.